it's out of a science fiction movie, the Book of Revelation. So it goes really terribly for what might happen to this country if he actually does get back in the White House. It's terrifying.
Michael Oldstrom here. You write in your op-ed, quote, a reasonably sentient Joe Biden could probably be Donald Trump handily. What does that mean? Reasonably sentient, what is that standard?
Well, it's a gesture to his concerns about his age, obviously, and that's not going to go away, and that's going to be something that is going to president counter but I do think that, if he is, if he's showing that he's got it basically together, people are going to vote for him over Donald Trump, especially swing voters in the states. No matter. Those swing voters rolled the dice on Trump in 2016 for a host of reasons that we all know.
Morning, all.
Morning. Can you hear me?
Morning.
Can folks hear me?
Hey, good morning, Spencer. Yes, we can, or I can at least.
Morning, Michael.
Okay, there's everybody. All right, I'm going live. Come on, come on, come on. Do. Come on, come on. AGA 2023. Okay, I'm in.
We can go on the record.
I'm not getting any. Why am I not getting any sound? I'm not getting any sound.
Court reporter, can you confirm that we're on the record?
This is the recorder, Judge. We could just barely hear you.
Can you hear me now? Turn up the volume on your computer.
Do.
Mr. Albert, I'm going to go ahead and mute you. Court reporter, can you hear me now?
Could you get a little closer? We could just about make you out.
Okay. Are we on the record?
We're on a record,
I'm not
Judge.
getting any sound. Click the 3 dots and press switch. 3 dots. Ah.
Witness Giannini, I'm going to go ahead and mute you. Sorry, folks. It seems like we're having some technical difficulties this morning. Mr. Dodge or Mr. Nichols, do you need me to wait to start until witness Giannini gets her computer up and functioning?
I don't know, Your Honor. I think I'm hopeful that perhaps there can be a stipulation to Ms. Giannini's testimony, and I can type to her because I don't see her being able to hear us. And I'm not confident that we can get it resolved anytime immediately. So maybe that's one potential solution.
I did have a question for Ms. Giannini this morning, so we're just going to go ahead and get started, and if we'll see if has her computer up and running by the time we get to her, and if not, we can delay her testimony a little bit. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Today is March 28th, 2023. This is Maryland Public Service Commission case number 9509Q. In the matter of the continuing investigation of the gas purchase power cost adjustment charges of Washington Gas Light Company. My name is Jennifer Grace. I'm the public utility law judge assigned to handle this matter. We have an ASL interpreter on the line today, Stephen Isbell. Am I going too fast for you, sir?
That's right at the top of the limit, especially if you have you're mentioning everything that's included with it. All the terminology because you have to spell a lot. So that's right at this limit of speed, but we're good. Thank you.
I'm going to slow down. All right. We're going to start with appearances. First from the company Washington Gas.
Spencer Nichols on behalf of Washington Gas. Mr. Dodge will not be joining.
Thank you. Office of People's Counsel.
Good morning, Your Honor. Michael Sammartino on behalf of the Office of People's Counsel.
Good morning. And staff.
Good morning, Your Honor. Kenneth Albert on behalf of staff.
Good morning. I believe Washington Gas may have some exhibits to admit this morning.
Yeah, I've got audio now.
Great. If you could hit mute.
Now I need visual. Put yourself.
I'm going to go ahead and mute Ms. Giannini.
Yes, Your
Mr.
Honor.
Nichols, do you have some exhibits this morning?
Yes, I'd move to mark as WGL1 and enter into the record Washington Gas's certificate of publication filed with the Commission on March 24th, 2023.
Well, WGL Exhibit 1 is admitted. Go ahead.
Thank you. And we also will be, we plan to submit the testimony from 2 witnesses today. They are alone in separate rooms and will not be in communication with anyone else.
Thank you for that certification. You can go ahead and call your first witness.
All right, Ms. Giannini, can you hear me?
Just
Okay,
a second.
Hold on.
You have, I just, wait, just 1 second. Ms. Giannini, can you unmute yourself?
Now I can. Yes, thank you. Sorry.
Ms. Giannini, can you raise your right hand, please?
I can.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. Can you spell your name for the court reporter, please?
Sure. It's LUCINDAGIANINY.
Thank you. Your witness, Mr. Nichols.
Thanks, Ms. Giannini. Where are you employed?
I'm employed at Washington Gas.
And how long you work there?
42 years.
What is your position?
I am supervisor of pricing in the Rates and Regulatory Affairs group.
Did you provide direct testimony that was filed with the Commission on January 9th, 2023 that consists of 13 pages of text and 3 exhibits, LCG 1 through LCG 3?
Yes.
And would your answers to those questions in that testimony be the same today as they were when you wrote them?
Yes.
Do you adopt the testimony as your testimony for today's hearing?
I do.
Your Honor, I move to mark as WGL2 and admit into the record Ms. Giannini's testimony and exhibits.
WGL2 is marked. Is there any objection to its admittance at this time?
No objection, Your Honor.
No objections from staff.
Thank you. WGL Exhibit 2 is admitted into the administrative record.
That's all I have, Your Honor. Ms. Giannini is available for questions.
Office of People's Counsel?
Your Honor, OPC has no questions for this witness.
Staff?
Staff has no questions.
Thank you. Ms. Giannini, on page 11 of your testimony, well, starting at page 10 and moving on to page 11, you talk about refund filings during the period. Can you please describe those? I don't believe your testimony was confidential, and just describe what those are, and what the outcome was of that for this year.
Okay. Yes, I believe we had one major refund from Columbia Gas. It was resulted from the rate case of 2020. And that was, and then there were two smaller ones that we received during previous months that were included in the refund filing. I believe we made in 20. No, we did in November of 21. Sorry, we made a small refund, and then we did another one in May for June billing. That included the large Columbia refund. I don't want to get into technical, but so when under FERC, when a company files for a rate increase, they're allowed to put those rates into effect subject to refund. So I believe from December of 20 through February of 2021, we paying those higher rates. So once the case was adjudicated and the actual final rates went into effect, then Columbia refunded that difference to Washington Gas and all its other customers, and then we passed that refund through to our customers. And that happened May 20th of 2022, and that's in the customers, that reduces the customer's PGC rate. That 12-month period right now will be June 22nd through May 23rd.
Okay, thank you. I believe in your testimony at page 11, lines 2 through 9, you indicated that there were 4 refunds received, 3 from Transco, and the one large one that you just testified about from Columbia. Is that correct? Is that still accurate?
Yes.
So thank you. So for the first time in the history of this case, which is back to the 70s, we received a public comment which was filed in the docket of this matter, asking a question. Have you seen that question? Have you seen that public comment?
Yes.
Okay. And witnesses, pay attention, because I may ask this to all of you. So Ms. Tumanios, this may be coming to you next. I don't know who the right person is to ask these questions. I'm going to read the public comment into the record and ask you to respond. It's from Henri Bartholomew, and it says, my mom is a Washington Gas customer in Bethesda, Maryland, and my wife and I are Washington Gas customers in Falls Church, Virginia. Over the past several years, I've seen the unit prices of natural gas provided by the company go up dramatically. I know that there is increasing pressure on world natural gas supplies, in particular since Russia started its invasion of Ukraine, and the US and Europe imposed sanctions, including boycotts of Russia oil and gas. But even before that, Washington Gas supply unit prices have risen a lot. Would the commission please raise with the company at the March 28th hearing what steps the company is taking to keep its gas supply prices as low as possible? So that would be the first question. I worked my career in the electric utility industry, which uses advanced purchase contracts and other mechanisms to ensure adequate supply at reasonable cost. Does Washington Gas do so too, including storage of gas needed to meet peak winter demand, so it does not have to rely solely on spot market prices? That, I believe, would be the second question. Henri continues, I have asked company customer service staff these questions several times, but they were not sure. I plan to listen to the hearing and sure would like these questions to be asked. Thank you. Best wishes, Henri. So Ms. Giannini, would you reply to his questions?
I can. I think Ms. Tumanios could probably be a little more detailed about it. So yes, Washington Gas does do future contract purchasing, and we don't rely completely on spot gas, but there's also a lot of other costs other than just the commodity cost of gas in the PGC. You know, we have our long-term contracts, supply contracts with the interstate marketers. We have other, we have carrying charges on our storage gas, which is something that's been in the PGC for quite some time. And we also, on the billing side of the PGC, I mean, as everyone knows, we don't make money on our gas. We pass the cost through to our customers. It's a forecast, every quarter. And then as the actual data comes in, we do an analysis to see where we are in our collection of our gas costs from our customers. And if necessary, we'll adjust that PGC during the year to collect it on as current a basis as we can. And then, of course, at the end of the period, which we're reviewing right now, we have the actual cost of gas for the 12 months. We have the actual collections from our customers. We compare that. And then whatever that amount is, whether it's under or over, we'll collect during the next ACA billing period. So my job is to collect whatever gas we purchase for our customers.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Nichols, do you have any questions based on my questions? Any follow-up?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Giannini, thank you for your testimony this morning.
Thank you.
Mr. Nichols, your next witness.
WGL calls Elizabeth Tumanios.
Good morning.
Good morning, Ms. Tamanios. Will you raise your right hand, please? You solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth?
Yes.
Okay. Can you spell your first and last name for the court reporter, please?
ELIZABETH. Last name is TOUMANIOS.
Thank you. Your witness, Mr. Nichols.
Ms. Tumanios, where are you employed?
Washington Gas.
How long have you been employed by Washington Gas?
Almost 5 years.
What is your position?
I'm the Director of Energy Acquisition.
Did you provide direct testimony that was filed with the Commission on January 9th, 2023 that consists of 16 pages of text and 1 exhibit? Approximately.
Yes.
Was there also a confidential version of the testimony?
Yes.
Would your answers to the questions in your testimony be the same today as they were when you wrote them?
Yes.
Do you adopt the testimony as your testimony for today's hearing?
I do.
Your Honor, I move to mark as WGL 3 and admit into the record Ms. Tumanios' testimony and exhibit, and mark as WGL 3C and enter into the record the confidential version of her testimony.
WGL 3 and 3C are marked. Is there any objection to their admittance at this time?
No objection, Your Honor.
No objection from staff.
WGL exhibits 3 and 3C are admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. That's all I have. Ms. Tumanios is available for questions.
Mr. Sammartino?
Thank you, Your Honor. I have a couple questions for this witness. Good morning, Ms. Tumanios.
Good morning, Mr. Sammartino.
So on page 12 of your direct testimony, beginning at line 15, you state that the company procures storage gas during the months of May through October for use during the December through March heating season. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, you testified on behalf of Washington Gas in its purchase gas adjustment hearings in 2021 and 2022, correct?
Yes.
And these would be case numbers 95090 and 95009P, correct?
Yes.
Subject to check, would you agree that the storage season commodity prices for the period under review in this proceeding were significantly higher than those under review in 2021 and 2022?
Yes. Subject to check.
And in your opinion, would you characterize the commodity market during the period under review in this case as volatile?
I think it could be seen that way, yes.
Now, subject to check, would you agree that in the period under review in this case, storage season commodity prices were higher than heating season commodity prices?
Yes. Sorry, can you rephrase your question?
Sure. I'm asking whether, to your knowledge and for the period under review, in this case, whether the commodity prices during the storage season, so that'd be May through October, were generally higher than the commodity prices during the heating season.
May through October. Sorry, I just want to make sure I get the,
That'd be May 2022 through October 2022.
yes, commodity prices and therefore storage prices were higher during that period compared to commodity prices in the winter.
Now, historically, to your knowledge, is it typical for gas prices to be higher during the storage season and lower during the heating season?
That is generally not the case.
So in light of the high prices during the storage season this year, or for the period under review, did the company make any changes to its procurement practices?
We did not.
And given these high prices, again, during the summer storage season, will the company be making any adjustments to its procurement practices going forward?
Not at this time.
Thank you. Your Honor, I have no more questions for this witness.
Staff, do you have any questions for this witness?
Staff does not have any questions.
It's my turn. Can you please detail what ways Washington Gas preserves the environmental quality and tries to achieve Maryland's climate commitments by reducing statewide greenhouse gas emissions?
Yes. As stated in my testimony on page
12 through 13.
Thank you. The company actively engages in the certified gas market and is also looking at opportunities for renewable natural gas.
The purchases of renewable natural gas would be in the next review period, is that correct?
We don't have any renewable natural gas in this review period, or and maybe not in the next review period either.
Okay, thank you. You were on the line when I read in the public comment that we received from Henri Bartholomew, is that correct?
I was, yes.
And had you seen that prior to today's date?
I did.
Would you please respond to his questions?
Yes. And thank you for the question, Henri. I am also a Washington Gas customer, so I have a personal interest in keeping gas costs low for customers. Cindy, Ms. Giannini shared with you how we collect our costs, and she shared that about half of the bill is related to commodity costs. The major driver for customer bill increases are related to increased commodity costs. Washington Gas does have a purchasing strategy that is designed to keep gas costs stable. The current market for gas costs, as you noted in your question, are higher. This past summer, we saw those increased prices related to Russia and the war in Ukraine. Some other major drivers for increased prices are the increase in demand. Demand has largely been driven up because of increased LNG. This country exports liquid natural gas to Europe, especially during this time of crisis. But there's a large global market for natural gas. Energy in the world is being consumed more. Additionally, there's an increased demand in natural gas domestically, we've seen a lot of increase natural gas in the power sector. Our electric grid is 40+% natural gas. We still burn about 20% coal in our power market. There's been a significant push for additional natural gas, which actually lowers emissions in the electric area. As demand increases, you would expect a corresponding increase in supply to help keep prices low. However, there's been no increase in natural gas infrastructure. And because you can't physically get the natural gas from where it's produced to where the demand is, you see higher basis price differentials. Washington Gas sits in a premium market, and we look for opportunities to make sure that we're able to access gas from where it's produced so we can keep prices as low as possible. That's going to continue to be a challenge going forward. Washington Gas also procures supply throughout the year. We utilize the storage. About 40 to 50% of our supply in the winter comes from our natural gas storage that's in inventory. That helps typically stabilize prices in the winter. As Mr. Sammartino's questions highlighted, prices this summer were elevated, which resulted in higher storage prices for customers this past winter. I'll share one other thing. We've had a warmer than normal winter. This is outside of the review period. So that helps with storage inventory levels, and that's brought prices down a little bit. So customers should see some relief here going into the summer. That's all.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Nichols, do you have any questions based off of my questions?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is there anything else for WGL?
No, Your Honor, that's our case.
Thank you. Office of People's Counsel.
Your Honor, Office of People's Counsel has no witnesses or exhibits to enter.
What is the Office of People's Counsel position on the recommendations of staff and WGL?
OPC has no issues or objections to staff's recommendations, nor does OPC have any issue with the company's procurement practices for the period under review.
Thank you, Mr. Sammartino. And staff, first off, can you certify that you are not in the same location as your witnesses?
That is correct, Your Honor. Kenneth Alpert, on behalf of staff, I am not in the same location as our two witnesses, Evan Thomas and Felix Patterson.
Okay, thank you. Your first witness, staff.
Thank you. I'd like to introduce Evan Thomas as our first witness.
Good morning.
Mr. Thomas, can you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Albert.
Mr. Thomas, did you prepare direct testimony in this proceeding that was filed on February 17th?
I did.
Do you have any revisions or corrections or clarifications to that testimony?
I do not.
And you did indeed have a public version and a confidential version, correct?
That is correct.
Your Honor, we would ask to mark Mr. Thomas's public version as Staff Exhibit 1. Now, you do also file a confidential version of your direct testimony?
I did.
And Your Honor, we would add same question. Do you have any corrections, clarifications to that confidential version?
I do not.
Your Honor, we would ask to mark for identification Mr. Thomas's confidential version as Staff Exhibit 1C.
Staff 1 and 1C are marked.
With that, staff would ask that Mr. Thomas's Exhibit 1 and 1C be introduced into the record.
Any objection?
No, Your Honor.
Guess.
I Can you state if you had any objection again, Mr. Sammartino?
No objection, Your Honor.
Mr. Nichols?
No objections.
Thank you. Staff 1 and 1C are admitted.
With that, we present Mr. Thomas for cross-examination.
Office of People's Counsel?
OPC has no questions for this witness, Your Honor.
WGL?
No questions, Your Honor.
I also don't have any questions for you, Mr. Thomas. I think initially it was unclear whether folks wanted to waive your testimony. So thank you for appearing today, and you can be excused. Staff, you call your next witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. Our next witness would be Felix Patterson.
Mr. Patterson, will you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Albert.
Good morning, Mr. Patterson. Did you prepare direct testimony that was filed February 17th, 2023 in this proceeding?
Yes, I did.
And you just filed one version, a public version, correct?
That is correct.
Now, do you have any revisions or clarifications for that of the testimony?
No, I do not.
With that, Your Honor, we would ask that Mr. Patterson's testimony, direct testimony, be marked as Staff Exhibit 2.
Staff Exhibit 2 is marked.
And we would ask that that testimony be introduced into the record.
Any objection? Mr. Sammartino?
No objection, Your Honor.
Mr. Nichols?
No objection, Your Honor.
Thank you. Staff Exhibit 2 is admitted into the administrative record.
Okay, and with that, staff would present Mr. Patterson for any questions.
Mr. Sammartino?
No questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Nichols?
No questions, Your Honor.
I have a question, Mr. Patterson. I realize that we're not here for a rate case today, that this is, the gas purchase cost adjustment. What is the bill impact of what's being discussed today?
The bill impact.
I believe you addressed it on page 8 of your testimony.
Right, I did. Bill impact is it's run about $1.49. It's in my testimony.
Okay, what was the bill impact last year?
88 cents.
Okay, so, and it's going to be $1. The charge is going to be $1.49 this year. So would you say that the customer should see an increase in the monthly residential bills by approximately 61 cents?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. I have no further questions. Mr. Albert, do you have any questions based off of my questions?
No, I do not, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Nichols, is there anything else for WGL?
No, Your Honor.
Does any party have any issues that we need to take up further this morning?
No, Your Honor, on staff side.
Nothing from OPC, Your Honor.
Nothing from WGL.
Okay. Thank you, witnesses and attorneys for showing up this morning. Very special thank you to American Sign Language interpreter, Mr. Isbell. I appreciate your time this morning, and we can go off the record. Court reporter, can you confirm that we're off the record?
We are off the record, Your Honor.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Your Honor.